glad you guys enjoyed. Okay, good. There's people here already. So I was just saying, like, I don't see any comments yet. But you guys
come. They're gonna come.
They're gonna come. So you guys, while we're waiting for you guys to come, because when are you gonna come? I am Kiki. Hopefully you know who I am. If you don't, then I am the owner of EM2WL. And right now I'm bringing to you one of my super close friends, client, business associate, like everything. Yeah. We're everything for everything. So I wanted to introduce you guys to it because I just wanted to have some real talk. So we're just gonna like chat it up because we do this all the time, like at least once a week.
So why not just do it on camera?
Yeah, we're just not recording it for you guys.
Yeah.
About, you know, the real side of this journey. Like it's legit. So usually we have like this whole like before and after thing. And when you just see like a picture on a blog post, you're just like, man, that just looks so easy, but it's so much harder for me. So that's why we're going to keep it real here. And we're going to actually talk live. So this isn't going to be the only time that we bring Rachel on. Rachel has agreed to kind of chronicle her journey.
Yeah.
With you guys. So we've been working a lot together behind the scenes, but you're just now getting ready to start or starting your first official cut because I mean,
yeah,
like you took a chill phase.
Oh my gosh, like the chill phase known to man, I believe. Yeah, it was a long chill phase.
Yeah, but it was necessary, right?
So good. Yeah. Yeah, and if you had said to me, like, I don't even know, Kiki, I was trying to figure out how long was my chill phase. I think it was like 18 months.
Yeah, it was close to 2 years.
Yeah, but if you had said at the beginning of that 2 years, like, so you're going to chill out, you're just going to be chilling, you know, for 2 years, I would have been like, no, heck no, I need to get rid of this stuff.
I know, and we were talking about that because we talked before about how like in the beginning you're like, so when do I get to cut? And I'm like, when you don't want to cut. And you're like, what are you talking about? I'm always.
Yeah, like why wouldn't I want to cut? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And I did think that, and I did say that to Kiki. And then I think I remember someone else, I can't remember if it was Teresa or someone was like, you know that you're ready for the next phase when you don't want to when you don't want to go to the next phase. And I remember thinking, and this was probably last year even, I remember thinking, like, I'm so ready to get out of this phase. Now I don't want to.
I know. And that's when it finally came like the push. We were talking and you're like, I just don't know. And I'm like, maybe it's time, just an idea. Maybe it's time to leave chill. And you're like, that's what you said would happen.
I know. Evolution. I was like, oh my gosh, it's true. What they say, it really is the truth.
It is.
Yeah.
So, and Ichel said the chill is the work. I know the chill is hard work.
It was work,
yeah,
but in a weird way, more like in an internal way, right? So like,
yes,
like okay, just fighting that diet mentality, man. It's like you have to be in the chill phase to fight that down because it's everywhere and it is all the time,
everywhere. So that's what we're like. That's why I wanted to bring you on to talk about this live because you guys. So for those of you guys who are just joining, this is my friend Rachel. She's one of the alum from the Crushing a Diet Mentality workshop, but we know each other in real life, in business, all kinds of things. So we're talking about like, what does this middle of the journey look like? Because there's a messy middle that a lot of times we don't see. So we talk about, you know, where we all are before, which is dieting into oblivion. And then, you know, we have these after pictures, which sometimes they're like 3, 4, 5 years after. But when you put them side by side, it's just like, man, I wish it would happen that fast for me. And we're talking now about how it doesn't happen that fast, but the different phases. So
it's true.
I went through a 2-year chill, and that was like mental work. That was like the deep work, right? So like,
yeah, and it was, yeah.
Like, I mean, we're talking like not even, we weren't even talking calories or anything. No. It's just like.
No, we were talking like, I can eat whatever I want.
Right.
And then it was so weird because that was a whole mind shift to just allow myself to eat whatever I wanted. And then to be able to sort of, and then when everybody else around me, hi, Brandi. Then when everybody else around me is like, I'm trying to diet or did it. And I'm like, oh, I can eat whatever I want. I can eat whatever I want. And then of course, with the chill phase came a little bit of weight gain. But it bothered me, but it didn't bother me enough to be like, okay, I'm ready to like move on to the next phase. Hi, Jess. All these fun people are here.
I know, you guys. So a side note, like I said, we know each other from business. So that's why you see some of the people that are here too, which is not, Rachel's not in the fitness business. So it's not even like the fitness industry. We just know each other from different business groups.
I'm so not in the fitness industry.
So you're going to see some of the people popping in who know Rachel from what she does in her industry, which you guys, especially some of you like work at home moms or you want to work from home, that this is your girl to follow because she's all about that. But that's a whole nother, you guys can talk to her about that later. Go follow her on her stuff when we talk about that. Right now we're talking resets in our chill phase and the things that she's, the mental work that she did.
Yeah, because see, because what you're saying about how, we see the befores and the afters, and I would see the befores and the afters. And I even remember texting you and being like, Kiki, I want to get there. I want to be there. And Jasmine, I was like, okay, I want to get there. I want to get there. I want to get there. And I didn't realize the journey that it's going to take me to get to that point. And I said to Kiki, I was like, Kiki, like, I want to share this with the world because I'm learning so much about myself. And I've experienced so many ups and downs that I want other people to hear this because I think when we share our experiences, it takes out all that other stuff that we're hearing and we're thinking, because really it's what we're thinking in our heads. Yeah. And I just think that's so important. And if I can help anyone, if they're on their journey, because we're all on a journey, right? Yeah. And I want to crush that diet mentality. And man, is that everywhere. And we just have to really help each other. And I have to say, Kiki, and I don't know if you're going to get to this, but I'm about to share it right now.
Okay.
Like right in the beginning of the chill phase, like right when I had decided, it was right after the workshop had ended, I think. It's all a blur. And I had dieted. I mean, you guys, when I say I had dieted for 20 years, I mean, that is not an exaggeration. So I had dieted. I just had never loved my body. Right. And so I had gone, dieted on and off. So my metabolism was completely just like, it just was like, I don't even know if I had one. Like it was so bad. So Kiki said, okay, listen, I think that you should, and I had to say goodbye to the scale, like no more scale. That scale is a, what, okay. She's a B. And, I would weigh myself, right? We all know this story. We weigh ourselves, and then whatever the number on the scale is, that determines our mood for the rest of the day or the week or whatever. And, I would wake up wanting to weigh myself, just messed up. So I got rid of the scale. And that in itself was so freeing to like not weigh myself and not feel pulled to weigh myself. But Kiki said, okay, I want you to go and do this bod pod test. And I was like, okay, what's that? It was like, okay, you're going to go and we're going to figure out what your resting metabolism is. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, I can do that. Sure. No problem. So I sign up for I think it's like 4 tests, right? In within a year, ideally. Okay. This was 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I get there and I was like, I don't know what to expect. What's this going to be like? And I walk in and the bod pod test is basically, correct me if I'm wrong, Kiki. They blow air, they weigh you, they get all your measurements, well, not all your measurements. And then you sit in this pod and they blow air and it's to figure out what is it? How much body fat you have, how much, all the other stuff. And they put it all together and they figure out your resting metabolism, right? Right. That's the scientific explanation. So I told you I wasn't in the fitness industry. So anyway, I get there and it's at a college, university. So I roll up and I find where it is and I knock on the door and this hot, grad student opens the door and I was like, hey, what's up? I'm here for the bod pod test. And he was like, yeah, okay, come on in. And I'm like, do you do the bod pod test? And he was like, yeah. So I'm like, okay. you know, thinking, oh my gosh, what the heck is going to happen? And I knew that I was going to have to be wearing some stuff that I didn't want to be wearing. So he was like, so do you have your spandex shorts and stuff? And I was like, no, I brought a bathing suit bottom and a sports bra, and you can't wear anything with underwire. And sister needs some underwire in her life. Okay. So I'm like, oh my God. Oh my gosh. Hot guy. Oh, wait, what do you want me to do? Yeah. So I had to strip down my bra and bikini. Okay. Bottom. And he was like, and put this cap on. So I had to like pull my hair up and put like a swim cap on. I mean, I was looking good, y'all.
Oh yeah.
And I remember at that moment feeling such complete, like feeling so completely humiliated. Yes. Because I was at my heaviest, I think. Who knows? But I knew that I was not where I wanted to be. And I was basically standing, you know, with everything that like, hey, in front of this kid who was so good looking. Why do they have to be good looking? And I had to go sit. He had to weigh me. That was traumatic because I hadn't weighed myself in a really long time. And then I had to sit in this pod de blue air, and I got the results, and I was like, I cried, you guys, because I had lost so much muscle. I don't know if I had any muscles left. Like I did. Okay. But it was so in my mind, I hadn't even gone there, you know, like I'm thinking, oh, you know, it's only going to be this percentage of body fat. And I had not even gone there. Right. And I was so devastated by this number. So that took a long time to recover from. I'm not going to lie. I was in a pretty bad place. But then Kiki, of course, is like, this is great. This is how you're going to figure it out. And the reason for it was so that I could see inside what was happening. Because when we go on this journey and we have the scale and we have the measurements, but you're in a chill phase, you're not losing. I mean, I was working out, but nothing was happening because that's not what was supposed to be happening.
Right.
So I think it took like a year for me to go back and get another one. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, was it a year?
Yeah, that was a year.
That's how traumatic it was.
It was.
I say this not so that you won't do it, but it really is. Again, I went back again, fully ready for the fact that it was going to be the same situation. It was not going to be fun. There was going to be a hot guy. And of course there was a hot guy. And I did it. And I still had the same percentage of body fat. And I had been lifting. And I was like, man, this sucks. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I think I gained 10 pounds actually. And I had gained 10 pounds. And so I saw that I'd gained 10 pounds and that my body fat percentage was the same. But Kiki pointed out that I'd gained 10 pounds, but none of it was fat. It was all muscle.
Yeah.
And as a result, my metabolism had jumped up. My metabolism had jumped up like, I want to say, I don't even know, quite a bit of calories. And I had no idea. So I was burning more calories just being than I was a year before. Mm-hmm. So I say that because this might sound like really depressing. You might be like, well, this sucks.
That's what we're here for. This is the real talk. That's why we're opening it up for discussion.
I think, honestly, that was so huge for me. That was such a breakthrough. And then I was like bragging about it. I was like, oh, well, I've increased my metabolism like 70 calories. So I'm pretty, you know, that I'm like this, you know, mm-hmm. But I was proud of that. That's huge.
Yeah.
And I could tell that my diet mentality was going away because that's not what I was worried about. I'm not worried about the number anymore. I'm worried about muscle and my metabolism.
Yes.
You know?
That's the reason why. So you guys, like, even though, yes, she did just share her traumatic experience. So I just said, yes, so real. And that's why I wanted Rachel to talk about it, because this wasn't pretty. So like, you know, a couple of results from now, you know, we'll be posting Rachel's pictures and she'll be all like, oh, I lost all this body, you know, and you guys will only look at those numbers. So that's why we're bringing her on right now, because this stuff is already starting for her. But the reason why we went there in the beginning was because of the fact that I know, like, I know you guys, like, we're all here, like attracts like, I know you guys, I know that we all think the same up here. And if you go a year and that scale isn't moving or going up, or you can't see anything happening on the front end, that starts to mess with you up here. Because the most important stuff when you're in a reset, when you're first starting this journey, is what's happening beneath the skin. But you can't see what's happening beneath the skin. So that mentality is going to talk you all up and down and out of it. So even though, you know, you'll post in one of the groups and people are like, oh, well, maybe it's muscle, or you're trying to tell yourself maybe it's muscle. And then what's going to happen like 30 seconds later? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's all fat. Maybe it's 100% fat. Maybe every single thing that I'm doing is just packing on. What if I just keep packing on fat for years and years and years and it never stops? And you're going to talk yourself so far out of doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. So when Rachel and I, you know, and I asked her, because that's not something a lot of people have, you know, have worked with me before, and they know that this is not something that I require of my clients. This is just something that I challenge Rachel.
Like, Kiki, can I share?
Oh yeah. I
was like, highlight me.
Yes.
It's all so true. And I think that's something that I wish that I had is someone to like document their process, like their journey, because we do hear about all the good things. Or I look at someone and I'm like, oh my gosh, they can eat all their vegetables. I don't like vegetables, you guys. Like, I've got issues, right? So this is something that I'm trying to work on. But if it is so helpful when other people are walking through that with you, or have gone a little bit before, you know, who are like, oh yeah, so this is what you're going to do, or it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, it's just helpful.
And when that happened, that's the way that was. When I asked her to, I was like, so I'm going to challenge you to do this. And you don't have to. It could bring up, you know, it could bring up some stuff. This is not going to be easy. I was like, but for the future, I want you to have these numbers so that you can see them, because I know months, years in what starts happening, especially because we were starting with a chill phase. Mm-hmm. Because it's really easy, like, you know, and you pointed it out, Rachel, like, to be in a chill phase, but be expecting results of some other completely different phase. And so that's the reason why we had to have that, because I knew that there would still be stuff going on, but I also know that it's easy to like go into a chill phase, park it for like 6 months, and then be like, I've been on this journey for 6 months and nothing's happening. And it's like, first of all, nothing's supposed to be happening.
Absolutely me. The second time I went to the bod pod thing, I was like, well, hopefully we're going to have some results. And Kiki was like, well, but what phase are you in? She like, you know, like, Rach, so yeah. And there were results, and they were good results, but that's not what I thought I was going to have, because I wasn't working towards that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was interesting. That was kind of hard for me, actually.
Yeah. And it's hard for most of us because we track time, not behavior. So we just think like, I mean, I've been at this for fill in the blank amount of time. I should have random pie in the sky result right by now, you know, and we're not connecting. But what have we been doing during that time? If you're in a chill phase and you're supposed to be getting a mental healing, you know, or if you're in a reset and you're supposed to be receiving this mental freedom, like this, just like breaking away from all the crap, then that's all that you're evaluating at that time. Like, it's been 6 months. Have I mentally broken free from all the crap? Like, that is the result you should be looking for, not have I become a fitness model? Like, is Oxygen Magazine knocking at my door right now? Because that's not going to happen in a chill phase. So a lot of times we don't think about it from that perspective, which that was the reason for the bod pod. So just disclaimer, I'm not telling everybody to go get a bod pod. A lot of people can't handle it. You know, you're not sending me the emergency text when you're crying the way that Rachel is. So it's a little bit different because.
And
I was like, can they send it directly to me? Can they not give it to you at all?
And I said that. I was like, can you, the second time I was like, can you just email the results to my trainer? And he was like, yeah, no, but I can put them face down so that you don't look at them. And I'm like, okay. And then what do I do? Is I leave. So yeah.
So, and I was like waiting by the phone all day.
But it really was something that I had to walk through. Like I needed to walk through that. And it was hard. and it was yucky and all those feelings came up. But I think what I'm learning through this journey is we've got this stuff, right? We've got all these lies. We have all these stories. We have all this stuff that we have to wade through until we can be healed completely. And for me, having dieted and having had these stories that I told myself growing up, like I've got a lot to work through and a lot to just get, you know, to push aside to figure out what is the truth. And I need to love myself and all that. So I had to go, that's what I needed to do. And Kiki knew that. And I don't want to do it again, but I'm gonna. Maybe, you know, maybe not right now.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like, and you've done so much mental work that then you got to that point where then I gave you the flip side of that push. So it goes both ways, you know, like, okay, you're doing really good mentally. How about we turn things up a notch? How about we start like just inching in this direction? You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is sometimes it is just the inch, because I mean, we're really not even like all in yet. And I mean, did you just go somewhere this past weekend and people were already asking you?
Like, yes. So I was in New York and two people, and I don't know if Jasmine is still on here, but she was one of them, asked me if I'd lost weight. And I was like, no. Actually, I don't know, but no. And then I was like, no, but look at my muscles. Like I was so excited, and I texted Kiki. I'm like, oh my gosh. Now I did have those thoughts that went through my head, like, oh, they didn't mean it, or they're just trying to be nice or whatever. But I had to stop those stories and be excited about what I'd heard, which was really helpful, because then I saw myself in pictures, you know, and then you're like, oh, okay, that wasn't a great picture. So, but this is the thing. There are these constant stories that we're telling ourselves that is so exhausting to just fight, but we have to, because what is it doing to who we are? It's not doing anything. It's just bringing us down.
Exactly. Yes. And just like, and even the example that you're able to like set for your daughter and everything now. So it's, you know, like this strength that you built up is so, you know, it's expanding into all areas.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, even with that, because when we were talking, it wasn't even necessarily, that wasn't even a, you know, a coaching moment. It was just like, you just texted me like, hey, this is happening. You know, even then, remember, I was like, good, bottle that up for when you see pictures.
Exactly. And then she sent me stuff on how to pose, and I didn't have time to read it, so I posed all wrong. But I will tell you that like when Kiki was like, okay, are you ready for your next phase? I think you are. And I'm like, no, kicking and screaming. No, I'm not ready to cut. But I even had issues with that. I even had issues like in shifting to the next phase, because I have the diet mentality still. It's still in there. I've defeated a lot of it, but man, it's deep.
Oh yeah.
So when we were going into starting the cutting phase, I was like, oh my God, like I don't need enough protein. And oh my gosh, the mosquito guys are here. Sorry about that. You can hear the loud.
We can't hear it.
Okay, good. So I was just really, I had to deal with that. It's like all these things pop up. It's like being in therapy, really. And, you know, and you move on and you think you've got a handle on something, and then something else pops up. And so, and that, I just encourage you guys, as that happens, is to not just quit, not to ignore it, is to like walk into it, because it's so uncomfortable. But then it's like you walk into it and then you walk out the other side, and then it doesn't have any pulls on you anymore. It's behind you. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a long time to walk through that story or whatever. And it was hard for me. I was like, oh my God, yeah. I'm not really, I'm like really bad at my fitness pal, and I can't, I'm not great at protein. And I started like really like freaking out. And then he was like, actually, we're just going to start slow. Okay. Let's just start being active, like more active than normal. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that, right? Because if we do things one bit at a time, it's just going to become easier.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And so that's exactly, and I know you got to go here soon. So like, that's the main reason why I wanted you guys to hear this, because I know right now it's that time of year, you know, like I said, like everybody in there, like, you're like, I'm the only person left on the planet who's not doing keto. Like, I know you're thinking that, and it's not true. There are people that are on this journey with you, and it's not super easy for anybody. And like Rachel was saying, like, you're going to get to those times. Like there's just these blind spots all along the journey. So as soon as you're like, all clear. Like, I got this. I got it on lock. I'm going. And then there's this other thing. And then all the fear is on this side of going through it. And you have to just get through it. And that's where you do. You're going to have to lean into the fear a little bit. And it could be fear over the smallest little things. Like, we're discovering crazy things. Like, Rachel's like, I don't like protein. I'm like, I've gone out to eat with you tons of times. Like, have you eaten a burger before? Because there's protein in there. Like, I know legit that you like some of these things.
I really have had some weird things. Like, oh my gosh, I don't like to eat. That was one of them too. I was like, Kiki, I just realized I don't like to eat.
I don't like to eat at all.
We're like, really, Rachel? And I mean, I am a little crazy, but I will say that I don't mean to like just focus on the negatives, because it's really not. It's been such a great journey for me. Like any journey, like going through it sometimes is hard, right? And I'm in the middle of it right now. So I'm not where I want to be. I have no doubt I'm going to get there. And it's getting easier for me to explain to people that I don't diet anymore. I know in the beginning they were like, come on, Rachel, you don't diet? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And then of course I didn't know enough to be like, well, actually, here's why. I'd be like, well, because Kiki says I shouldn't, you know? Well, you know.
That only gets you so far.
Like, okay, Rachel. But it really is a cool journey. Like, I'm learning so much about myself, and I'm learning so much about, like, and that's so important. Mm-hmm. And we are valuable people, you guys. Like, you are loved, you are beautiful, period. And I think that's something that we all, when we're stuck in this diet mentality, it's always like, well, I'll be better, I'll love myself when, or I know when I get to this certain weight, I'm going to be so much happier. And it's not, those are all stories.
Right, right. And that's just it. And so you guys, like, everybody's like journey is different, and the stories that we're telling ourselves are different. The main reason why why we're doing this series with Rachel, and why I'm dragging her on here, which, you know, she volunteered. So
yeah, you guys, I don't think there's any
but I'm bringing her on here to discuss this stuff, because this is the stuff that we talk about behind the scenes, that if you're working through it on your own, you think that it's just you know, and it's not. And whether you decide to take a close to 2-year chill like Rachel did or not, you know, that all depends on, excuse me, where you're starting from. So like, you know, Rachel mentioned, like, there was a couple of decades worth of dieting under her belt, you know, and so that was something that I really encouraged. And if you have that same background, like, maybe take some time to get mentally behind the journey, because even though it seems like, oh, but I don't want to extend my journey, a lot of times we end up doing that anyways, because if you don't take that time mentally in the beginning, then you just jump ship as soon as it's like,
yeah, there's no way looking back. You are so smart, Kiki. You're so smart, because if I had I look at myself, and I hadn't done this until just now, but if looking back, if I jumped into cutting, like, I would probably be dieting now. I probably would have just totally, that would not have, because I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Mentally. I'm so much stronger mentally now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So strong. Like, it's night and day, which is the only reason why I even pushed you to cut, because
I mean, but listen to this, you guys. I freaking love the Cadbury's mini eggs. Like, love them. It's hard to restrain myself when I go to Target and it's like 2 for $5, you know, at Easter. So I bought so many this year. I admit it, but they're still here.
Exactly.
Because they don't have the pull that they used to have. I mean, what?
Exactly. That's what's up. That's the kind of stuff that in the beginning it'd be like, you know, like, I just can't have them in the house. But it's like, maybe you can.
Yeah.
Once you realize, you know, once that mental work has been done, like, that's not even what we're dealing with anymore. Because in the beginning it was, remember, in the beginning, that was all of our calls, like, oh my gosh, I drank this today, or I ate this today, and I'm so horrible. And it was like, it's fine. Go have another one. Like,
that's another thing too, like the guilt, like not having any guilt anymore. Oh my gosh. That's like one of the best things about this whole journey, is that I don't wake up thinking, oh my gosh, I ate that yesterday. Oh, you know, I don't have that anymore. Yeah. I'm free.
You are. And so we're going to keep updating you guys on Rachel's journey. So this is like her beginning middle. So that's why we thought it was a good time to be able to share this, because it's the beginning of, you know, this new leg of the journey where we're actually bringing the physique goals back into play. But at the same time, it's also in the middle. And this is the part that we sometimes don't like to even admit exists, but there's a messy middle for all of us. And granted, maybe we should have started last year so that you could have seen the real messy middle, but that's okay. Rachel's going to recollect.
I'll recap.
And there's many more to come. But if you guys want to come along on this journey, make sure you're following Rachel, because she is posting a lot more. She's really starting to share openly about her journey over on her now on Instagram, right?
Yes. Yes. It's Rach3.
Okay. Rach3. I'm going to put that in there because
that's a really good name.
Is that, yeah, I'm going to put it in there. You can also see, like, she's in the people that I'm following, but if you don't want to sift through any of the people to find that, we're going to put that in. So I want you guys following her there, just because the whole purpose of this, what we're doing here, is for you to feel your feed. So that's why I put hashtag feel your feed, because it's time to start combing our feed and looking at, you know, looking deeper into the things that maybe we once thought were inspirational, but maybe if we actually look, it's making us feel a little bit worse about ourselves, or it's trying to make us hurry the journey along, or, you know, we just really feel bad that things aren't as perfect as we think that person is, and people aren't talking about the struggles. So Rachel's talking about all up and down on her page, but it's also super inspiring. Thank you. Ichel wrote that. So there you guys go.
Yeah, perfect.
That you guys are following her, because it really is. It's just like that dose of inspiration that you need, which is why I felt like it was time to start bringing her on here to share with you guys. So make sure you're following.
Yeah. And if you have any questions, like obviously Kiki, I mean, the whole team is amazing. But if you ever have any questions for me, like, Rachel, I'm feeling this way, it sucks, whatever, totally DM me.
Yeah. Always. Yeah. I mean, she has a direct line to me anyway. So I mean, anything that you think.
I'll ask Kiki. Is she ignoring you? I'll ask Kiki.
Anything that you're feeling, like we always say it, like typically somebody else is feeling the same thing or has experienced the same thing. And so that's why we're bringing you real people that have. So Rachel has. So if you are, you know, you're having those moments. Yeah, she's in the middle. So you can DM her over on her Instagram and just have that encouragement. So make sure you're following her, adding her over there, because I want you guys supporting each other in this journey, because that's what it's all about. Like I said, not everybody can send me the emergency text, but if you guys are all following each other and making the connections there, then guess what? There's this huge web of support where, you know, we're all walking with each other through it. So
true.
I know you have to.
I have to go get my kids.
You gotta go get kids.
I mean, you know.
It happens to the best of us. So see, she's walking in that journey with us too. She also has kids too. Yeah. So this isn't just like her just off doing this thing by herself, and, you know, single woman, she can just do anything because she has her responsibility. She runs a business. She has done all this while being in the public eye. She has children to raise. Like she has a whole life going on, you guys. So this is easy.
It's kind of stressing me out. Thanks, Kiki. That's
thanks for bringing all of that to light that I'm doing.
I'm really stressed.
All right, so now that we have successfully stressed Rachel out, I just wanted to thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you're following Rachel. Hashtag fill your feed. This week, we're filling it with Rachel.
Love that.
And she will be back sharing more of her journey as she progresses. So thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Oh, next time, clearly. All right, I love your face.
Thanks, guys.